Hey everyone, welcome back to Financial Freedom Hub. Today, we're diving deep into a company that was once the undisputed heavyweight champ of global money transfers, Western Union. Western Union's story starts in the 1850s with telegrams. But soon, they pivoted to what they became known for, money transfers. For decades, they held a virtual monopoly, with their iconic yellow and black signs dotting the globe. If you needed to send cash, you went to Western Union. You might remember their name from sending or receiving money across the world. They were the kings. Their stock was climbing, revenues were solid, and international workers trusted them to move billions back to their families each year. But where are they now? They've still got a massive presence, especially in parts of the world where fintech hasn't penetrated deeply yet. But the real question is, can they stay relevant in the digital age? In this video we will have a look at how revenue from Western Union's operations has changed over the 10-year period, 2014 to 2023. Why 10 years? It's because less than 10 years doesn't give us a clear picture of the company. And yes, we will only look at one row on their income statement for now, total revenue. Why revenue? Because revenue is the lifeblood of any business, and you will be surprised how much this one row can tell you about the company and its underlying business. Please keep in mind, however, that we are not making judgments, and this is in no means an investment advice. We just want to show you that financial statements are not just a formality for bureaucrats. If you understand this, you can make life-altering decisions, whether you are an investor, business manager, or even an employee looking to build your career. If you pay attention to what factors have had the most impact on companies' performance in the past, and what the management has done about it, you can, in a way, predict the company's most likely future. The things you should be aware of are external factors that management has no control over, but also the shifts in management's focus. Businesses are living organisms, they evolve and change over time. Stay tuned, in the next 10 minutes, we will go through the facts, and you get quite a good idea why things are as they are. If you want to learn how to interpret other items on financial statements, we encourage you to watch our playlists, income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. You might also want to subscribe to our channel because some of our content will be available only for subscribers. Just so you know, the data that we use in this analysis is freely available in Investor Relations section on Western Union website. So, let's get started. The reported revenues for the period 2014 to 2023 are as follows. The amounts are represented in millions. We can see that 4 out of the 10 years have seen revenue increase, and revenue has decreased in 6 years out of 10. Also, we can note the negative 2.8% compound annual growth rate of the total revenues over the period. You can watch this video to learn how we interpret revenue trends. Let's have a look at some major factors influencing the revenue in 2014. During the year ended December 31, 2014, Western Union operations were divided into 3 segments. 1. Consumer to consumer. The consumer to consumer operating segment facilitates money transfers between two consumers, primarily through a network of third-party agents. 2. Consumer to business. The consumer to business operating segment facilitates bill payments from consumers to businesses and other organizations, including utilities, auto finance companies, mortgage servicers, financial service providers, government agencies, and other businesses. 3. Business solutions. The business solutions operating segment facilitates payment and foreign exchange solutions, primarily cross-border, cross-currency transactions, for small and medium-sized enterprises and other organizations and individuals. The majority of the segment's business relates to exchanges of currency at the spot rate. In addition, in certain countries, Western Union writes foreign currency forward and option contracts. During the year ended December 31, 2014, the revenue increased by 1% comparing to previous period. The main driver to revenue growth was 5% growth in consumer-to-consumer segment. This growth was driven primarily due to acquisition of the Brazilian foreign exchange operations of Fita DTVM and Fita Turismo Ltd, Fita, in the first quarter of 2014. Another growth driver was growth in the business solutions segment. Fluctuations in the exchange rate between the United States dollar and other currencies, net of the impact of foreign currency hedges, resulted in a reduction to revenues of $157.5 million. 2015 versus 2014. Western Union total revenue decreased by 2.2% that year. The main reason for revenue decrease was US dollar fluctuation in relation to foreign currencies. Currency fluctuations' negative impact was 6% that year. It was partially offset by a 3% increase in transaction growth in the consumer-to-consumer segment. Accounting for the transaction increase and effects of currency hedges, the reduction in revenue was 2.2%. 2016 versus 2015. Revenue on 31st of December 2016 was reported $5,422.9 million, reduction of 1.1% from $5,483.7 million on 31st of December 2015. The strengthening of US dollar, relative to foreign currencies, partially offset by currency hedges, caused the reduction of revenues by 4%. This reduction was partially offset by 3% transaction increase in consumer-to-consumer segment. 2017 versus 2016. Western Union operations are divided into two segments. 1. Consumer-to-consumer. 2. Business solutions. The strengthening of the United States dollar compared to foreign currencies, net of the impact of foreign currency hedges, resulted in a reduction to revenues by $61.3 million for the year ended December 31, 2017. GAAP revenue increased 1.9% that year. Revenue growth came primarily due to transaction growth in consumer-to-consumer segment by 3%, and growth in United States electronic-based and Argentina cash-based bill payment services. This 3% growth was partially offset by 1% negative impact of strengthening of US dollar, partially offset by currency hedges. 2018 versus 2017. US dollar strengthening against Argentina peso impacted revenues by $142.7 million that year, and were partially offset by US dollar weakening against other foreign currencies, primarily euro and British pound. After these effects, and the effect or currency hedges, the reduction in revenues were $111.9 million in the year ended December 31, 2018. Consumer-to-consumer segment growth of 4%, and previously mentioned currency fluctuation effects, resulted in revenue growth of 1.2% that year. 2019 versus 2018. In the year ended December 31, 2019, Western Union revenue declined 5%. On May 9, 2019, Western Union closed the deal with ACW Worldwide to sell U.S. electronic bill payments business SpeedPay and PayMap that provided electronic mortgage bill payment services. As a result, only $125.4 million of SpeedPay revenue and $5.3 million of PayMap revenue was included Western Union revenue results in 2019. For comparison, in 2018, Western Union included $352 million of SpeedPay revenue and $16.2 million of PayMap revenue in their consolidated income report. The reduction in revenue was driven primarily of fluctuations of US dollar in relation to other currencies, primarily Argentina peso, 4%, and divestitures of SpeedPay and PayMap businesses 4%. 2020 versus 2019. Revenue decreased 9% in 2020 compared to 2019. Comparing to a prior year, fluctuations in the US dollar rates, partially offset by foreign currency hedges, resulted in a reduction of the revenue of $157.2 million, from which the negative impact of dollar strengthening against Argentina peso was $138.8 million. This makes about a third of total decrease of revenue, which leaves another 6% revenue reduction to decrease in transaction volume from retail locations, decrease in foreign exchange and payment services activity, and divestitures of SpeedPay and PayMap businesses. The above decrease was partially offset by revenue growth from westernunion.com and other digital transactions. Management believes that the reduction was primarily caused by restrictions related to COVID-19 that started in March 2020 and lasted for the rest of the year. 2021 versus 2020. The year ended December 31, 2021 showed revenue growth of 5%. In August 4, 2021, Western Union entered into agreement to sell its business solutions business to Goldfinch Partners LLC and Baupost Group LLC. Net impact of US dollar fluctuations and currency hedges to revenue were positive in 2021, increasing it by $18.3 million, or 1%, relative to prior year. Other growth factors were recovery from negative impacts of COVID-19, and growth of revenue from digital money transfer services. 2022 versus 2021. The year ended December 31, 2022, Western Union consolidated revenue declined by 11.7% in comparison to a prior year. Business Solutions sale closing is now set to 3 parts instead of 2. The third closing is expected to be completed in second quarter of 2023. Fluctuation of US dollar compared to foreign currencies negatively impacted revenue by $185.5 million compared to prior year, or 31% from total decrease of the revenues. Business Solutions operating revenues included in Western Union consolidated statements of income were as follows: $196.9 million in 2022, and $421.8 million in 2021. A decrease of $224.9 million, representing another 38% from total decrease. In March 2022, Western Union suspended its operations in Russia and Belarus. The revenues from these countries in 2022 and 2021 were $28 million and $145 million, respectively. A decrease of $117 million, or 20% from total decrease. In addition, Ukraine transactions volume was negatively affected by Russian invasion to Ukraine. The main factors that negatively impacted total revenues in 2022 were as follows. 1. Fluctuation of US dollar compared to foreign currencies. 2. Business Solutions segment divestiture. 3. Suspension of operations in Russia and Belarus, and transaction volume decrease in Ukraine. 2023 versus 2022. Western Union operations are divided into 3 segments. Consumer Money Transfer Operating Segment, previously Consumer to Consumer. Business Solutions. The final closing for sale of Business Solutions occurred on July 1, 2023. Accordingly, Business Solutions revenues and operating expenses are no longer reported on Western Union income statement after July 1, 2023. Consumer Services, previously Other, includes bill payment services which facilitate payments for consumers, businesses, and other organizations, as well as money order services, retail foreign exchange services, prepaid cards, lending partnerships, and digital wallets. Total revenue decreased 3% in 2023, compared to 2022. Fluctuations in the United States dollar compared to foreign currencies, adjusted to the impact of foreign currency hedges, resulted in a decrease to revenues of $143.3 million. Business Solutions revenues included in Western Union consolidated statements of income in 2023 were $29.7 million, down by $167.2 million from $196.9 million in 2022. As we can see from above, currency fluctuations impacted revenues negatively by 4% and business divestitures by 3% in 2023. Now you know what have been the main factors behind Western Union revenue fluctuations for the period of 2014 to 2023. We have narrowed them down to 2 main factors, one that is external and is out of management's control, and the other one is related to management's focus. The external factor that has had the most impact on revenue is US dollar exchange rate fluctuation. Only once out of the 10 years have US dollar fluctuation had favorable impact to the revenue. Even so, that often the negative impact has offset the company's core business growth. What about the impact of management's focus? Western Union revenue was positively impacted by acquisition of Brazilian foreign exchange operations in 2014. On the other hand, divestitures of SpeedPay and PayMap businesses in 2019, as well as sale of Business Solutions in 2022 to 2023, had a negative impact to the revenue. Western Union focus has been gradually shifting to Consumer Money Transfer segment, previously Consumer to Consumer. As of today, the company has eliminated profitable Business Solutions segment completely. Also, Consumer Services segment, previously Other, has seen declining trend from 2017. Our question still remains: what do you think, will Western Union manage to stay relevant in the coming years, in the environment of technological advancements and fierce competition? You could let us know down in the comments section what do you think. And of course, thank you for watching.